Hello friends, happy Sunday. Who is in the mood for chicken piccata meatballs? Well, if you are, you have come to the right place because we are going to try this fusion of a very beloved Italian meal of chicken piccata with the meatball. And I'm Philly. Welcome to my kitchen, and we are going to be getting started. So our first course of action is going to be to make the meatballs. And I will tell you that I was inspired by this recipe, I don't know, I think it was last month, I think it was in October, and I came across a recipe by Piccata, and it was for these chicken piccata meatballs. And since I love chicken piccata, and that's something that I've cooked a lot over the years, I thought meatballs would be a great way to let those flavors shine. So down below, you can see the link for her recipe. I'm gonna be doing some of what she's doing, but I'm also going to make it my own because I've been making chicken piccata for years, and so when I get to the sauce, I'm going to be making that part my way. And I've made a lot of poultry meatballs. I love a good poultry meatball, and so you could use turkey for this or chicken, and you'd want the 93% fat. No, not 93% fat-free. So you want that blend of that's 93%, so that there is some fat that you wouldn't want to use just regular chicken breast for this. But and I'm following mostly because I loved her idea of adding some shallots to the meatballs, but we don't buy white bread, so I didn't have white bread to use for her fresh breadcrumbs. So I'm going to be using a little bit less in dry, but still adding the milk, which will help moisten them. And besides that, the meatball part of the recipe will be very similar to Piccata's. It's really just the sauce where I'm going to be departing a little bit. So welcome to the stream. And hey, Barb, how are you? Welcome to the stream. How are you this Sunday? And what are you planning on eating for dinner? I know on most of our minds is Thanksgiving, the big turkey meal next week. But we're going to have this because after this meal, I'm probably not going to be doing my normal cooking. I'm going to be getting things ready for the Thanksgiving meal. So Hubs will have to enjoy this and hang tight, right, till Thursday. He's giving me the thumbs up. All right, so we are going to start getting our meatballs ready. And the first thing I'm going to do, since I'm not using fresh breadcrumbs, I'm going to be using dried breadcrumbs, is I want to get the breadcrumbs moistened because I don't want these meatballs to be heavy. I want them to be light, and I do want them to be not meased. I'd like them to be moist as opposed to meased. So I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs. And by the way, back here, I just got a pot ready, all boiling for what we're going to be putting these meatballs on. And more about that later. I know I gave everyone a little bit of a clue. So in here, I'm just going to do a 1/3 cup of white breadcrumbs. There we go, that's about right. And then I'm just going to add some milk. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of milk. Now, in hers, she does say whole milk. Honestly, for me, it's whatever milk you have. If you don't have milk, add some water. Just something to moisten them. And I do think milk adds a little richness. We actually always have whole milk because I use a little bit of milk in my coffee and my tea. And I like whole milk because I actually then use less because it's richer. Plus, whole milk is a great a thing to use in recipes for creaminess, like for mashed potatoes. It's a little more creamy without going over the bounds with half and half or heavy cream for your weekly mashed potatoes. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons, and then I'm just going to stir this up and let it moisten. And again, what we're trying to do here is just add some moisture to these breadcrumbs, so it's just not a lot of dryness that's going to suck everything out of it. And I might add a little bit more only because mine are of course drier than fresh bread. So I just might add a smidge more. So maybe a teaspoon more I'm adding. And that's just because it feels right to me. So you could always just stick to the 2 tablespoons, but it just feels right, kind of looks right. And so when you mix this together, it just kind of looks, a little bit like oatmeal or couscous or a lot of different grains. And we're just going to let that sit and let that kind of all get nice and hydrated. Let me put my milk away. Hello, Diaz. How are you? And please say hi to Ruby for me. And Diaz was saying we were enjoying last year's Thanksgiving special. I know, right? That will be me on, I think I start I think I start tomorrow making pumpkin bread, but then Tuesday we'll be getting into the turkey so it can dry out and all of that good stuff, getting my giblet gravy or giblet broth for the gravy and for the stuffing and all that good stuff. So when do you guys start prepping? And also, DS, do you and Ruby host Thanksgiving? Do you go someplace? If you go someplace, what do you bring? And same with you, Barbara. Do you stay put for Thanksgiving? Do you go anywhere for Thanksgiving? I just kind of want to know, because it's a little bit stressful. I love doing it, but it is definitely the Super Bowl of all meals. I feel like it's just, you're hyped, you're like all ready for it, and it is a marathon, right? It's just because days before you begin cooking and you're continuing cooking through the day. And it really is a marathon for dishes, so Hubs gets a workout too. And Barb said, I finished decorating. So pasta tonight. Oh, were you decorating for the holidays? That's wonderful. I bet your place looks fabulous. And yes, right? I'm definitely pulling the grunge look. Absolutely. In fact, it's funny you said that, DS, because yesterday we actually went to one of our favorite places that Hubs just recently allowed me to go to. I'm only teasing. He's not happy about that comment. But it's an iconic place in South Philly called The Saloon. And we went there. He's been there, going there for years with his buddies, his poker buddies. And they have fabulous dinners there. I've heard about this. And then he took me last year, and I love it there. So we actually met my sister, her husband, my cousin, and his wife. And the 6 of us went there last night. I did not get out the camera. I didn't want to bring Philly into the dinner, so keep it all like just social. So I was a good girl, and Hubs was probably very pleased I was keeping the camera away. But the food is phenomenal. I mean, it's just delicious. So we were well fed last night. And Archie, hey Archie, bring fries to Thanksgiving. Well, you know what? That's a great idea. So for those of you who just joined us, we just moistened the breadcrumbs that are going to be going, into our meatballs. And I'm letting those moisten. And we're going to get a couple things ready for that are going to be mixed in with my meatballs as well. So one of them is a shallot. Now she adds a whole shallot. Shallots are kind of funny because it really depends upon how big they are. And they kind of come in all sizes. So for this one, I'm going to just finely chop a half a shallot. So, I always prefer with recipes like that to have measurements as opposed to saying 1 or 2. And even with something like a lemon, lemons can be different sizes. So I always prefer having like a real measurement, but that's just me. So I'm just going to use half of this shallot. Let me just finish peeling it. And so Archie, tell us about what you had for dinner tonight. Your food was looking fabulous. Your food always looks fabulous, but your recent post really had me drooling for sure. And that fish, I cannot wait to see the fish video. Archie's going to be dropping a absolutely delicious fish video, and he does fish so well, don't you, Arch? This one, I'm just going to do a little surgery on my shallot because sometimes they have that papery stuff that want to get off, but the other one was good. So if anyone who chops shallots a lot, you know what I'm talking about. And then I'm just going to kind of put this in a couple ways this way, do some slices this way, and then get this thing finely minced. So there we go. Excellent. So that gets a nice mince there. We want it to be fairly small so we don't get big chunks of shallot in our chicken meatballs. Just run my knife through it, make sure there weren't any big pieces that I missed. Oh, it looks very nice. I feel a little chefy, and it's a little bit sharp, so my eyes are getting a bit watery. I'm going to move that over to the side. And then for my lemon, I want to actually zest this whole lemon. I'm not going to be using all of that zest for my chicken meatballs. I'm going to be saving some of the zest for the accompaniment that we'll be getting to in just a little bit. So I'm just going to run this over my microplane, my favorite way to zest a lemon. And I want all the zest. I would rather have more zest than I need and not use it than be wanting more. And of course, when you're zesting, no matter what tool you're using to help you, you do want to make sure you just get that rich colored top layer. You don't want to go far into at all the pith because that gets to be bitter. So once you get that top layer, you move along. And I just think the microplane is honestly one of the easiest ways to get zest. Some people actually will put this on top and they capture it all. For me, I don't know. I just prefer it this way and having it all land somewhere. So that's kind of how I roll. All right, so now we have a nice amount of zest. I actually want to keep this because we'll be using this for Parmesan cheese later to go on top. So I'm going to put this over here. And let's see what everyone's chatting about. So you start prepping on Wednesday, DS. And yeah, I saw that bowl of nuts you had, Archie. I bet you are cracking nuts. I hope you have a good nutcracker, my friend. Let's see here.
He's always busting my stuff.
Well, yeah, Hubs was saying you're always busting his stones, so. And Archie said we had a small brisket with Yorkshire pudding today. Very, very nice. Oh, that is one thing I still have never made, Archie, is Yorkshire pudding. And yours always looks fabulous. And you had the sea bass last week. Oh, DS, I will. He'll come in for the tasting. We were busy this week, and we were out with friends Friday night, and then we were out with family last night. So we're both just feeling quite lazy today. But, you know, it's funny. Some people might think I'm crazy for doing the stream on a day like this weekend when we were very busy. However, I have to make dinner anyway. So, like, it's going to happen, and it might as well just happen with friends, right? Okay, I'm going to put this away because this thing is kind of already getting to my eyes as well as the stuff I just chopped. And let's start mixing up these meatballs. So one of the differences in the recipe that I'm going to do that Giada was doing differently is she cooks the meatballs in the oven. And actually for anyone that follows me knows that that is usually my preferred method of cooking meatballs. However, for today's purposes, when I make chicken piccata, part of what makes the sauce, the base for the sauce, is what is done beforehand when I am sauteing and browning the chicken cutlets, right? The breaded chicken cutlets. So I did not want to leave that step out because I feel like that develops the flavor that's going to eventually go in the sauce. So I am going to be cooking the meatballs on the stove in my pan back there and then remove them, make the sauce, and add them and have everything taste really yummy. So I am changing it a little bit today. And I'm not sure, I don't know, I just think when I was thinking about doing this recipe, I'm just taking off my rings here, friends, since we'll be doing some mixing. I just thought to myself, you know what, like this would make most sense. So let me rearrange myself a little bit here. Put my knives, I got my fork. All right, so I've got my ingredients. I need an egg, so I'll bring that there. So this is my ground chicken. And this one's 92% lean. I think the turkey's usually 93% lean, so whatever you got. I just would definitely not just get breast, because I do think it'll be a little tight, and they won't be as tender as you would like. Okay, so there we go. So we got that, and that's a pound, by the way. And then in here, we're also going to be getting our egg. And we're going to be putting some capers. So I thought this was a great idea. So we'll be using capers in our sauce, plus we'll be using capers in the meatball, which I think is very cool. So I'm going to let me get my lemon zest over here. And I do want to run I want to run my knife through these capers and chop them up a little bit. I'm going to actually take off some of this brine because I don't want the brine, I just want capers. And I'm going to get some of these out. And I think she suggested like 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to get some of these out, and I'm going to use some in the sauce. So just giving a nice punch of flavor. There we go. And we'll save the rest of these for later for the sauce. I love capers. If you don't like capers, you can leave it out. They provide a nice salty brininess, which I really enjoy. So I'm all for it. There we go. I'm just running my knife through it. Like I don't need them minced, so to speak, but I just want to break them up a little bit so that more of their yumminess can go throughout the meatball mixture. That's good. All right, so we're good there. And then the other thing I actually forgot I wanted to mix with the breadcrumbs was the egg. So I'm actually going to crack the egg into that. And let me get this out. And I'm just going to give that a little mix. I should have done it in the beginning. And that way, this is all going to help richen up and moisten up and lighten up the mixture. So I'm getting my egg in there. As usual, I pick a bowl that's a little tiny, but you know, it makes it for an exciting stream, the most exciting cooking stream in YouTube. I don't think any of y'all knew that. There we go. So definitely loosened up my bread crumbs there. So they are going to be ready to go. I don't want any really big chunks of breadcrumbs, so if any got kind of all put together, you want to do that. So let's put our things together. We have our 1 pound of ground chicken. We are going to kind of spritz out our breadcrumbs that have the milk and the egg mixture there. Get that. I can use this to get the rest of it, get all that goodness out. Excellent. And then we are going to add about a tablespoon of the lemon zest. I want to kind of sprinkle it because lemon zest can kind of stick to itself. We're going to add all of these capers. I'm going to add, I'm going to add all of these shallots. I thought that might look a little much. I think it'll be fine. And then we also want to get some fresh parsley. Now, as you know, I love to take fresh herbs, chop them up, make sure they're washed, dried, and chopped, and put them in my freezer. So I'm going to get some fresh parsley from my freezer because I got in a bunch the other week. And so I have a ton. So I'm going to just grab that out right now. So this is, of course, what I love to do. So you can see all of that fresh parsley, and it really works well. Just a couple of tablespoons there. We'll use some of this at the end in our sauce as well. And it just makes it handy and convenient. And also that way you're not wasting any of those fresh herbs that you get. So let's just make sure. So, and salt. I need some salt. About a half teaspoon. There we go. I'm eyeballing that. I'm going to put a little pepper in there. I've got my capers, my lemon zest, my shallot, my egg. I think we're all good. And now we can give it a mix. And as you guys know, how I like to mix meatballs is let me put that away. I like to use my fork to start it up just to keep everything nice and light. So I'm going to do that. And while I'm mixing this, actually, you know what? I'll wait and get the pan preheating while I'm making the meatballs. So I don't want to overmix. I want to keep these nice and light. And over here, by the way, I have a bowl of water. That's really helpful when you're making meatballs because especially chicken ones, it helps with the chicken or the turkey not sticking to you. All right, this is about mixed, I think. It smells so good. The lemon, the capers, the shallots, it is very aromatic. So I think it's going to be delightful. All right, so I'm going to shift this the other way. And I'm going to start making meatballs. Let me just wash my hands one more time. Let me put them, 1 second, friends, right there. And I'm going to put my recipe up here. All right. And let me see what you're all chit-chatting about. Yeah, so he is up. He is up. He's just relaxing right now. He'll be in later to taste test. Yeah. Well, Arch, so that's one of the things that intimidates me. I know DS had asked me, I don't know if it was in the celebratory stream we had, when I got into the 500 subscribers, but that is definitely one of the dishes that intimidates me. I don't know why, but Yorkshire pudding does. So that would be a good challenge. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution, is to face my Yorkshire pudding challenge, right? That might be a good one, Arch. I think it's a great idea. So Yorkshire pudding is kind of like very similar to popovers, but Archie, it's made, you use the animal fat, right, as your fat, correct? Is that, Hubs was asking about what Yorkshire pudding was. So I know they look delightful, look like popovers to me. So then he was saying you could do a second dish in between, like a nice red onion gravy to dip them into, yes. Or frankly, have, some beef that was in the slow cooker that I can make a gravy with. That would be wonderful too. Yorkshire pudding gravy is very dangerous. Yes, very crave-worthy. And you're giving a lesson on how to say herbs. Well, we do say herbs here. We all have our different ways. So, but I remember, and I think I've mentioned this, the first time I saw Martha Stewart saying herbs on her show, she said herbs, and I was like, she's saying herbs. Anyways, that's like a whole nother thing. But it's all good. Tomato, right? And popovers, yes. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to get this started. So I'm not going to make these too big. I'm just going to, wet this a little bit. I'm going to make them, I think, like golf ball size would be what I prefer. I like that. Just making some little golf ball size chicken piccata meatballs. So what are the most unusual meatballs you've made? I know for me, the most unusual I had ever made up until now really was the chicken marsala ones that I had heard about from Skinny Taste. But I love this. I don't know, it's funny because for how much I like a meatball, I'm just shocked I didn't think about this whole mashup with chicken piccata. I just think it was a great, when I saw Giada had a recipe, I was like, that is a great idea. And I love chicken piccata. And I don't know if you all remember, we did chicken piccata 2 ways. We've got a video about it, and it was from a stream. And in fact, you know what? I'll link it below. I don't have it linked below right now, but I'll link it below. And I really like it with flaky fish. We used tilapia, but you could use like flounder, anything that's light and flaky, branzino, anything like that would be delightful in piccata. And honestly, probably any fish, because fish generally, unless you get, I don't think I would do it with salmon. I love salmon, but I don't know, you have a lot of competing flavors there, but any white fish, I think, would be delicious. And you know what, I'm contradicting myself, because then I'm realizing I actually think it'd be great with swordfish. I love a good swordfish steak, and if you cooked up a swordfish and then put it in a piccata sauce, that would be fabulous. Don't you think that would be good, babe?
Yeah.
Like a swordfish piccata?
That'd be great.
Yeah. So I'm just making these. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on the, to get our stove preheated. Let me go do that. Let me wash my hands and get that preheated. So Barbara was saying, yes, Martha is amazing. Absolutely, she is. And Archie was saying your favorite is lamb kofta meatballs. Oh, that sounds delicious. Kofta. That would be a Mediterranean, yes? Or I think, right, Arch? Isn't kofta Mediterranean? Okay, so I'm getting that. It would be like lots of, kofta probably would have lots of those warm spices in it as well, and it'd be with lamb. And then Barbara said eggplant meatballs. Yes, Barbara, it's so funny. There was a place called, when we lived in the suburbs, and it's a chain, it's called Be Good. It's the letter B, Good. And what the concept is, it is, I don't think it's still around, it's a fast casual restaurant. So kind of like Panera, but healthier for you. The food that they get is from local sustainable farms. Like it all around is a very good for you place. And they had those eggplant meatballs. They were phenomenal. I'm not a vegetarian, but I love vegetables. And here in Philly, we have some amazing restaurants that are vegan, and they are absolutely outstanding. In fact, on, what was it? Was it CBS News we were watching this morning, the Sunday morning edition? They were talking about this chef, or this woman from Atlanta who's a chef now, that started a food truck called, was it Slutty Vegan, which was a hysterical name. And she is like this huge success story. She definitely had a lot going against her growing up. She started out in Baltimore and then lived in Atlanta, and just has not only found success, but also with vegan food. And they said that 70% of the customers that go to Slutty Vegan are actually not vegan or vegetarian, which is, I thought, so ironic. So you know the food is good. So I just, I kind of look at food as I do with everything in our lives. I love all the colors of the rainbow, right? I love that there's so many differences in us. And that's one of the things I love about food and cuisine. And so I just honor that in everyone. I love that, and there's some people that can't even control what they can eat. I have a friend who has celiac. So she has no control over the fact that it's a very, can be a very dangerous allergy for her. It's not dangerous like a peanut allergy is with instant, having breathing issues, but it does damage to her body. Like it's literally, it can be very damaging if she doesn't stay gluten-free to her systems. So anyway, so I just think it takes a lot to make this world go round, and I celebrate it all. So here are our meatballs, our chicken piccata meatballs ready to go in the pan. And I'm just going to tidy up a second. Our pan is preheating. I already preheated our water. Once I get the meatballs going, and we will bring you all over there once I make the sauce. It's not going to be that exciting seeing just the meatballs cook, but I will certainly bring you over to see. But once we do the sauce, I'll bring the camera over so you can kind of see better what I'm doing. Okay, so here is our pan. I might get that going a little bit hotter. And oh, that's right. Let me use my olive oil. Okay. And I'm going to be using a little bit of butter for flavor, and we'll be using some more butter later. Okay, so I've got olive oil and butter, and for people that don't know, the reason for doing that is butter can burn more easily, so when you add it to another oil that has a higher smoke point, it enables the butter to have flavor without getting too, get that burned too dark. Brown butter is great, but we don't want burnt butter. And I'm just going to place these in here all around and let these start cooking. I'm not deep frying these. I'm just doing a very light saute, so I'm going to need to jiggle the pan and let them move around and get all their sides brown. There we go. So we're going to let them get started. And the place is going to smell awesome. All right, so let me just get some water on this chickeny plate and get that bowl filled. And I'll tell you about what we're going to do next. Let's see what you all are chatting about. So Archie was saying, Archie's still complaining about the meatless meatballs. Mediterranean or Middle East. Yes, Archie. That's what I thought. And lamb and a Baharat Lebanese 5-spice. Ooh, that sounds absolutely delicious. And Archie says, I like vegans but couldn't eat a whole one. Phil, who have you modeled your meatballs on? I know it's not your hubs because he hasn't got any. Oh, Archie, you have it going on today, don't you? Absolutely. So let me go show you how everything looks right now, and we'll get these guys starting to brown. Oh, there we go. There we go. I always feel like sometimes it gets a little bit edgy. So these are just starting to brown, and in fact, I'll keep you here while I start twisting some of them over. What's that? Hubs is saying something. I can't. Oh, that's right. I was going to have some of my, so when I had made, those of you that saw my video for the Winter Sangria, and one of the reasons I made it was because we were having company and we all had a cocktail here before we went to the restaurant last night. And so, so I have some leftover that I'll show you. It's right over here. some of that leftover, see the red liquid? That's leftover red sangria. The fruit I took out because the fruit can get a little yucky if you leave the fruit in too long, like you want it to flavor everything, but then you kind of got to let it and leave it, so to speak. So there's our chicken piccata meatballs browning lovely. Let's get that back in. So yeah, so I think I'll do that. So I'll also put down below the link to this. This is my Winter Sangria, and I love it. It would be great for Thanksgiving, would be great for any of the holiday celebrations, be great for New Year's. What's nice about sangria, if you're having company, is you make it up and then it's literally pour. And when you pour it, you can also add, you could have it straight up, you could add some seltzer to it to lighten it, especially if someone prefers a lower alcohol volume or just wants it a little bit lighter tasting. Or you can add Prosecco, which doesn't lower the alcohol content, but it does kind of lighten it up, and it's kind of celebratory. So I have a little bit of Prosecco left over. And as I was saying last night at dinner, one of my favorite times to drink wine is when I'm cooking. I just think it's just a lovely time to drink wine. So I'm going to get my little bit of Prosecco that's left and add that. And so this is just a mix of this. I used a Rioja wine, and I put in apples, oranges, cranberries. The cranberries are still in because they hold up. And then I used some triple sec, some apple juice, and I put in a star anise, 2 little whole cloves, and I think 2 cinnamon sticks. Now I'm going to make a mess of this, I can just tell. So I'm going to kind of do this. There we go. I did make a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to top this off with some Prosecco. It just kind of lightens it up a little bit. And it's delightful. It's very nice. Let me check on the meatballs. I'm going to give them a little shake. The thing that's good about a pan is you can kind of shake them and get them rolling. There's just one that didn't really cooperate, so I'll fix that one. Move him over. Oh, he is not cooperating at all. He kind of flattened up. That happens sometimes. The thing that's great about homemade meatballs is that they're not all perfectly circular. And can I tell you a secret, friends? Like there, one of my, the chicken meatballs there is kind of, it got a little lopsided. And that's a good thing because it means it's super light and it isn't dense. And I cannot stand when you have a meatball that is super dense and just, it's more like a hockey puck. To me, that is not good. So I love when they're a little bit squishy because that way they'll be nice and tender, which is always yummy. I'm gonna put my rings back on. All right, let's taste this. So it's very celebratory. So cheers, friends. Cheers to you. But this is delightful. What I love about the Winter Sangria is the flavors of the star anise, the clove, and the cinnamon just really come through. And to me, that's what makes it really wonderful for fall and winter. And if you don't have all of those whole spices, you could just do cinnamon sticks. You could just do cinnamon sticks and a couple of whole cloves, but if you have the star anise, ooh, it just kind of like takes it over the edge, so to speak. So while our meatballs are cooking, I'm just gonna turn that down just a tad. I'm gonna tell you about how we're gonna finish off the meal. So when we make our sauce, we are going to be putting the meatballs in the sauce over top of angel hair today. And when I do my angel hair pasta, in fact, let me get this heated up again. I bought actually a fresh pasta. We were over in Jersey. I was at Wegmans, which is one of the most wonderful grocery store chains in our country. It's started over here on the East Coast in New York. And they just are one of my favorite grocery stores. And there's one that's not too far across the river in New Jersey. And so I got their angel hair. And yeah, I'm going to be cooking that up in some water. It will literally take, I think, a minute. 2 to 3 minutes, a whopping 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, olive oil, and the rest of these, the lemon zest, just to give it something as the base. Oh, and I'm also going to be adding some peas. After it has cooked for 2 minutes, I'm going to literally add frozen peas to it and then take it out and drain it, because the frozen peas, they cook so quickly. I don't want to overcook them. And yeah, so just add a little veg, a little green in there. You know me, I like to have a little vegetable, a little green, and that'll do it. So it'll be angel hair with peas and lemon zest, and then we'll put over top the chicken piccata meatballs with the chicken piccata sauce, which will be delicious. And have you got subtitles for Hubs when he has, have you got subtitles for when Hubs has a contribution, please? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not following you there, Archie. Is it me or have we lost you, Phil? It was me, I think. Oh my goodness, you guys are very funny. So I don't think anyone, did you guys tell me like what you're doing for Thanksgiving? I think DS said he's starting on Wednesday to cook, but I wasn't sure, Barbara, if you were doing any cooking, if you're bringing a dish, if you're going someplace. I just wasn't sure. And by the way, for anyone who is watching, thank you so much for watching the streams. And if you're watching but don't want to come on chat, that is totally fine. You do you, but thank you for coming to the stream. I always appreciate that. But don't be too shy. You can always pop in and just say hi, and then you can go back to your seat and not say another word. So, but you don't have to do that. It's only if you want to. I'm going to give my chicken piccata meatballs another. Oh, they look so nice. They're developing awesome color. Very happy about that. Wow. They smell delicious. Absolutely. I'm going to have to bring you all over so you can see the beautiful color. Let me just move that. Because, as I said, I wanted a tender meatball. They are definitely a little misshapen, but I think that's great because that just means, and I'm going to turn down the heat just a little bit, because I think then it shows that they are homemade, which is a great thing. And rustic, right? Isn't that what we call it? Look at the beautiful color on those. Gorgeous. What's better yet, if you can kind of see in the pan, is see all that brown and yummy flavor, that fond, that is Flavor Town. So when we make our sauce, that is why I wanted to do in the pan, because I wanted to make sure that flavor was there. So you absolutely could do these in the oven, but I just think what you're missing, not having the flavor in there, would be a bit of a bummer. By the way, I know what I'm going to do while we're waiting. The one thing I'm going to do is I like to put garlic in my chicken piccata. And so husband, as we know, is a little bit garlic shy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash my garlic. So if you have anyone that's garlic shy, but they still like garlic flavor, but they don't really like the pieces so much, you can either do a couple things. You can, number one, make the pieces so big that they can pick them out. But the other thing that's nice to do is just take a garlic clove and smash it, and then you can remove it when you're about to serve it. So and just remember how many you're putting in. So I'm going to smash 3. But they're just there to flavor the sauce, and then I'll take them out, and that way there's no big garlic pieces. As you all know, I love garlic, but not everyone does. So that way it's a great option for someone who does not think it is really fun to find a garlic piece. The after effects, right?
Garlic doesn't like me.
It does. I think that has a little green sprout, but. So I just want to smash it. I'll show you what it's going to look like. First of all, the smashing helps you take the skin off. Do you want to put your sound on there, babe? It's right over there.
No, I'm not going to be here.
But then they can't hear anything you're saying, even when you're mumbling. So when you smash it, let me just show you. You just want to make sure like it's wiggly, right? Because that way the butter and oil can get into it and get all that garlicky goodness. Like you want to make sure you do that. Plus it's a nice way to get some aggression out, which is cool. All right, this one piece of garlic has some suspect parts. So I'm going to actually split this one in half. So now I know I have 4 pieces, so I will fish 4 out, because if I don't and Hubs gets one, you know that will not go over well.
You know, it's better
What's
smacking the garlic than smacking you.
Well, that's true. That is better. Okay. All right. There they are. I think they're about done. Okay, I think they're about done. So I'm going to get a new plate, put them in I'm going to put them in the microwave, as you know, and that's one of my favorite places to keep things warm because it insulates. And so if you put something warm in there, it'll stay warmer longer, won't have a draft, all that kind of thing, so to speak. So I'm going to get these onto a plate. I'm going to do it this way because I'm afraid I'm going to have a meatball rolling, which will not be good. There we go. There's our beautiful chicken meatballs. I'm putting this back over here. I'm going to be adding more oil to that. Putting these in here to stay warm. We'll rewarm them up in the sauce. And I'm going to bring y'all over so you can see how I make my sauce. So let's just see. Let's come over here. Turn that way. I know we're going to be going right back here. So I'm going to need to bring you a little closer. Actually, one second, friends. I'm going to actually move you that way so that I can actually get to the spot. Excellent. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to first, let me get some of my ingredients and tell you what we're going to be doing. All right. So first I'm going to be adding a little more oil. We've got our heat there. And I'm going to be adding just a little bit more butter. I'll be adding a little bit more butter later. But I just want this going because we're going to be putting our garlic in there. And I want our garlic to be able to saute up and release some of their flavor. So we're getting that melted. All right. Let me see. Can get you a little closer. There we go. Let me get my spatula. So I'm going to get this heat back up because in a minute we're going to deglaze the pan. So first you want to get this garlic cooking a little bit. And the one thing I was thinking of when I was thinking about making this sauce is when I do breaded cutlets, or even if I'm just using them dipped in flour, salt and pepper, there always is a little bit of flour that makes its way on the bottom of the pan. And while there's chickeny flavor on the bottom of this pan, I was a little worried about it having the right amount of a little bit of flour there too, because that will help thicken our sauce. So I'm not putting any measurable amount of flour in here because that's not kind of what I'm seeking. I'm going to be doing a big reduction in my sauce, but I just want to sprinkle a little bit, just a little, because that will help us with our sauce. So I literally sprinkled, I don't know, I don't even know if it was a quarter teaspoon, just a little bit, just to bring, and I used Wondra, you could use regular flour, but I want to make sure I have some of that thickener that happens when you're making chicken piccata. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some wine. Now, if you're drinking white wine, add that. I'm just adding, actually, I have some, as you guys know, my hack is some dry vermouth. That's what my mama always did. She would make things with wine and she always used dry vermouth. And so we're going to do that. I wish I had more of that, but that's just what I had left, so I'm just being real. I would put a quarter cup if I had it. And then I'm going to start adding some chicken broth. Yeah, would you put that? I think it is on the list. I just forgot to get it when I was there last time. So I'm just adding some chicken broth. And I want this to go pretty high because I want to reduce this. I have some extra chicken broth in case I want to actually, make it, if I bring it too thick, just to help give me some leeway with my sauce. But I don't know if you can see, I'm going to bring you a little closer. But if you look at that, there's all these brown bits, and that is all yummy flavor. So I've got a rapid boil here because I want to reduce this. So I've got my garlic in there. I put that little bit of wine. I already had this Winter Sangria, so I was not going to open up a bottle of wine. I am practical in that way when we had this leftover sangria. And then we're just going to reduce this, okay? And I want to reduce this pretty hard. Once we reduce it, I'm going to be adding some lemon juice. In fact, let me get that cut right now. So they're ready to go. And I've got my squeezer here for my lemon juice. And we're also going to be adding our capers. And then we'll add our butter to finish. Oh, and we'll add parsley. Don't want to forget the parsley. So you can see when you have it up at a high heat, it can really evaporate and thicken up more quickly. So just a lot of good flavor there. I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper. We can always check the salt later. And by the way, for my chicken broth, I did use that Better Than Bouillon, which is one of my favorite things to use. So we're just reducing this, getting all the good flavor. Oh, it smells so good. And I'm also going to get a spoon so we can be tasting it. So let's see how it tastes so far. It needs that lemon. So it's salty, it's rich. The garlic is very subtle. I would, of course, love to have a ton of chopped garlic in there, but it is what it is. But you can taste a hint of garlic. Hubs will be super happy with this. You can see I'm reducing down there. I want to get it reduced pretty well because I'm going to be adding some lemon juice. I think we're about ready. Nope, a little bit more. I want to add lemon juice. That will give it some more body again. Get that going a little bit less. So this wide pan is perfect for when you're trying to reduce something quickly. It really allows it to happen. And once we put in the next pan over here, once we put our angel hair in, that's gonna cook up super quick. All right, so that is almost where I want it. Let that go a little farther. Sometimes cooking is about being patient, right? There we go, a little bit more. Okay. I think we're about there. So I'm going to actually right now turn this off. I'm going to get my capers in here. I don't know, I think it's probably about 2 tablespoons or 1.5. And I'm going to get some lemon juice in here and brighten this up. Let me stir that around, give it a taste. Let me get my spoon, give it a taste. Ooh, oh, that's nice. And when we put a little more butter in there, that will make it perfect. Okay, you can see that my noodles are boiling here. So I'm just going to add my chicken meatballs to the sauce so they can flavor. I'm going to add the parsley at the end. So someone please make sure I remember to add parsley and butter to the end. I don't want to forget that. And I'm just going to get these all tossed around in that sauce so they can absorb that sauce. We'll add the butter. At the end, I can put this, whoopsie, I keep banging into my back wall there. And if I need to add a little bit more of this broth, I can, because even right now you see it's kind of absorbing a bit, isn't it? So I'm actually going to add just a touch. And that's, again, why I want to wait till the end to add the butter, because then it can help bring it all together. So then over here, we are going to add our angel hair. And again, this will just take a very short time. I see I'm going to need a knife, so let me grab my knife here. There we go. Oh, I forgot to salt my water. Well, you must salt your water, so let me get my water salted. Okay. Add my angel hair. This lovely fresh pasta. Break that up. There you go. I'm actually going to use my same tongs because it's all going to the same place. And in a couple minutes, we're going to add those frozen peas. There we go. Nice. All right. There we go. And this will cook up so quick. We were talking about angel hair last night because a few of the people, it's an Italian place, the saloon that we went to with my sister Hubs and her, my cousin and his wife. And, you know, a lot of people got angel hair, and one of the reasons they got it is because it's hard to cook at home. But if I'm going to cook angel hair, I like cooking a fresh angel hair because I just feel like it's a little bit easier. All right, so we're getting close. So I'm going to start, I think, adding some little knobs of butter there to the other pan. That's about ready to go. I'm about ready to add the little peas to it. Let me get my knife so I can add these little knobs, a little bit of multitasking going on. Phil at her finest, right? So I'm just going to make these into 4 knobs to drop in with our meatballs, and then we'll add some fresh parsley. And we can taste to see if anything else needs to be adjusted. And just do that. I feel like I've forgotten y'all. Trust me, I have not. There we go, just letting that all melt in lovingly, right? Oh, that looks good. And again, I can add a little bit more. Let me just add a tad, there we go. Just so everything can come together. Oh, nice. Look at the color in that sauce. I don't know if y'all can see, but like wonderful color. And my pasta needs me, so I need to go get those peas and get that out. So let me grab my peas. My peas I had already. I'm gonna turn off the burner actually on this. And I'm gonna put all of this, there we go, that looks like a good amount. I'm gonna put all of this in to the strainer that I have over here. So let me take this away. I'll be right back with the other. I'm gonna get these in the strainer. There we go. And then I'm actually gonna put these back in the pot because, so you can see here, putting this back in the pot, because then to this, I wanted to add some olive oil, salt, pepper, and that lemon zest. Remember that, friends? Those were the things I wanted to add. So let me show you here. We've got this. I did add butter. I added it to the meatballs already. Parsley. Thank you. Don't let me forget to add parsley. So you can see the peas. Thank you, sweetie. It was so nice when Hubs is helping. And I don't know if it's going to need any salt because the water was salted. So let's just check that. So you can see I'm going to add that lemon zest. Let me see if it needs salt. A little salt, yes. Adding my lemon zest. Where is my heating pad here? So I will say, I can already tell, this is why angel hair can be a bit of a test, is I have overcooked it ever so slightly. Angel hair. And part of it's trying to, I think, do this on the stream, which makes it a little bit trickier, but it'll still be good. Every time I overcook pasta, Hubs is like, oh, I think it tastes delicious. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this on a plate to show you all in a second. Okay, I'm just gonna get this in the bowls, just so hang with me, friends, a second, because I don't want it to get sticky. So I'll be right with you with the meatballs. Just get this bowled up. 1 second, friends. One sec. Thank you all for your patience with me. I appreciate it. Okay. Get this back over here. Let me see how my meatballs are doing. I'm glad I added that, but look how thick that sauce is. Look at that. I actually wish it was a little thinner, but let me test it for flavor. Oh, it tastes good. I might just add a tiny little bit to loosen up some of that goodness. And I'm also going to do this because I want to get all that goodness that's there on the sides. That's what I love about regular spatulas, is they help get all the goodness. Should I save this nice piece of garlic for Hubs? Would that be a good thing? All right. I'm going to add the parsley that I didn't want to forget. I'm turning off that burner so we don't have any more heat. Let me get my parsley. There it is. And then we can toss this. Excellent. So if you want more sauce, then of course just add more of the liquid. Let me bring you all back over here so I can bring things over and show you what we have going on. So here, there. All right. There we go. Let me make sure. There we go. All right. Okay, so let me just throw water in this for Hubs. Got this. So here are our bowls. This is a great meal to put into bowls. I haven't even had a sip of this. How funny is that? Or maybe had one sip. And Hubs would just laugh because he'd be like, yep, that's totally on brand for her. She pours her something and then forgets it. All right, so this is our plate for tasting. Hubs, you can totally make your way over here, my friend.
You said you have not had one sip of that yet?
I think I had one sip. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take these lovely meatballs and put Hubs. Can you get your microphone, love?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
That's true. I've just been slaving away here. So I'm going to put these on. There we go. I'm going to put a big piece of garlic on his since he's not cooperating. That's what I'm going to do. There we go. All right, I'm going to get some of this little bit of sauce I do have left. I do want to get some of that and put a little on the meatballs. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I can't even tell you how good this smells. Now, I've been neglecting my chat, friends. I apologize. I do not mean to neglect you all. Let me just put one more on this one. Okay, all right. Okay, 1 second. Let me grab this. Okay, let's see here. I want to put this away. And I've set the table, so we've got everything over there all set. Here we go. So this is it plated. So you've got the angel hair with the olive oil, salt, pepper, and grated Parmesan. I have grated Parmesan to put on top of all of this, by the way. And then the chicken piccata meatballs. So I'm going to put this on here first, and we'll put them on the bowls before it's time to eat.
No
Here,
shaky cheese.
no shaky cheese. And then here is our Parmesan.
Is this our sample plate?
This is our sample plate. There we go. Okay. You ready to try?
What are we doing first?
Oh, see, these kind of all came together. No, wait a second. Can I use your thing a second? So, yeah, so I cooked my angel hair too far. This is not what you want to have happen, friends. And I probably should add a little more olive oil, but I didn't want to over olive oil it because we already had a lot of good stuff. So I would do that with yours. So just try to take some of them off, okay? And get our meatballs. That's the thing with angel hair. See, you can tell I've not cooked in a while, which is exactly the reason why, but it is nice
Tastes good.
to have it. So I'm going to try.
No, they're moist. Has some lemon flavor. Whoop, run away.
The meatballs are amazing. The meatballs are amazing. You know what I do next time? Because this is exactly why I don't cook with angel hair, is I would do it with orzo instead.
Wow.
Orzo does not do this to you. Orzo is much more behaved.
Those are really good.
Aren't they good?
A fair amount of lemon flavor, but it's
And that's just from the zest.
oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, the lemon flavor on the sauce is from lemon juice, but inside the meatball is lemon zest. And I like the peas with it. I think you could also do sauteed spinach with it.
Spinach?
Spinach.
What's spinach?
I don't
think
know-
I've
I don't
ever
know
heard
what
of
spinach is. But I just like the peas. I think peas go nicely.
Uh-oh, there we go.
If I had only cooked it like 1 minute less, the angel hair.
That's
It
exceptional.
would have been less sticky. But the
Yeah,
meatballs,
but the angel hairs, I like the angel hair with
yeah,
it.
I know you do. I know. That's why I picked it for him because he loves angel hair.
Thank you. You're very kind.
It is delicious though. It's really good. The meatballs, you know, what you put them on, you could put them on mashed potatoes, you could put them on rice. I would probably do orzo again.
I can't believe they're that moist.
Yeah, it's the milk, the egg with the breadcrumbs and not over mixing and then not packing it, right? Keeping them, you know, keeping them moist so they're not hockey pucks.
I mean, those are really good.
Those are really good. Yeah, they are phenomenal. Definitely try this. I think this is excellent. Like I said, the only thing different I did from Giada's meatballs was I didn't use fresh bread because I didn't have it, fresh white bread, and I used a little less shallot. But everything else I did the same.
What white bread?
So sometimes you can just use fresh white bread torn up.
Did you use any bread?
So 1 second. So that because when you make meatballs, a lot of times you add breadcrumbs. So instead of breadcrumbs, you can add fresh bread, and you can moisten it with some milk. So I didn't have that, so I just used breadcrumbs, but I made sure I moistened it with enough milk so that it wouldn't just suck all the moisture out of the turkey. So anyways, so friends, thank you so much. Yes, I love Wondra. I'm with you, Eugenia. Hi, Eugenia. I don't think I've said hello yet. Marcy, hey. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I missed anybody else. I can't actually, 1 second, babe. I'm noticing I have water on my little mouse pad, so I can't actually use it yet. So, oh my gosh. Yep, okay. So my mouse pad is sticky. So I apologize. I can't actually go back up into the chat. But Marcy, welcome. Eugenia, and here we go. Eugenia and, oh, I just lost y'all. Oh my goodness. So friends, 1 second, I'm having a mouse problem, and not the kind that you would be worried about usually as far as, there we go, back up, okay. There we go, I'm back. Yeah, I can't get my chat to go up, so I can't, oh, there we go, yay, all right. So friends, my laptop is working a little wonky, but thank you, it was so good to see you, Marcy and Eugenia. And by the way, I did want to let you know that I do need to cancel my and reschedule my stream for next weekend on the 26th. I was going to be doing a boozy brunch and showing one of the biggest things that's around right now is the espresso martinis. Wanted to kind of make one. I've never had one. Our son Matt has enjoyed them. He really likes them. And actually last night at Saloon, it was a pumpkin spice espresso martini, and Wendy, who we were with, said it was phenomenal. But I'm just gonna make a regular one. But however, I'm not, because we are actually going. You're going to the Eagles game, and I'm going to be going to the tailgate, so we won't be able to do that. So that'll be rescheduled into December.
We should do a stream from the.
Right. So I'm going to do that in December. But what I am going to do, my last stream will be on the 29th. It's a Wednesday, which means it's a Wings Wednesday. And that Wednesday, I'm doing lemon pepper wings. It was this recipe that I found that looked phenomenal. So you can look forward to that. The one thing I am going to try to do though this week is tomorrow when I make pumpkin bread, I'm going to be taping it so I can make a video and release the kind of pumpkin bread I make, because it's a recipe I've used for years from this one cookbook that's not around anymore. And I think it makes an excellent pumpkin bread. So I'm going to show that. So friends, so thankful for y'all coming. Archie, DS, Barbara, Eugenia, Marcy, and anyone else who I've missed. Thank you so much for joining the stream, and until we eat again, see y'all and have a great week. Bye, friends.
Bye.